So, guys, this is on part three of API 570 Piping Inspector Examination video series. We talk about general information about the exam. On part one and part two, we talk about 570 publication effectivity and body of knowledge. And in part three, we are going to talk about exam tutorial. Now, this is the very first thing that you see after you've been directed to your desk to start the exam. So normally, once you walk into the test center after ID verification with your driving license or passport, which should be valid, otherwise you wouldn't be allowed in. Prefer to have two sets of government-issued photo IDs, like say one driving license, one the passport, preferably, just in case, and make sure that they are both valid. And then you can go to security check. You will go, they take a picture of you, they ask you to sign in, and they direct you to your desk. So once you open your desk, it will ask you that you're attending the API 570 Piping Inspector course, and this is your name. So once you confirm that, it will direct you to your tutorial. And this is what you see in the tutorial section. It is 10 minutes long, or if you finish it earlier. So it tells you there is 170 questions, 390 minutes, and you have a 45-minute break. So remember that you start with the closed book part of it, 110 questions for 2 hours, 45 minutes, followed by 45-minute break. And then there is the open book part, which is 60 questions roughly for 3 hours, 45 minutes. Now, if during the 45-minute break you didn't report in, your clock starts ticking for the open book part. For example, if you don't come after 45 minutes, say you come under 150 minutes, so that extra 45 minutes that you took, that you report for open book part, is taken off your open book allocated time. So you will only have 3 hours left to answer those 60 questions. So make sure that you come 5 minutes, say, before your break, because you need time to, you go through the same security checks that initially you've gone through. They take your picture, they ask you to sign in, they ask you security questions, they search you, etc. Okay? So even if you go to toilet and come back, the clock starts ticking, and you have to go through the same security check. So every time you go out and come, it's the same security check and verification of your ID. Also, I would advise you to have 2 sets of government-issued photo ID, like a driving license and a passport, or it should be a photo ID, and make sure that they are both valid. If they are not valid, they will turn you away. They won't allow you to attend the exam. Okay, after some information here, what is this about? If you can read yourself, I'm just going to point to important things in the tutorial. You will always see the name of the test here. Once you start the test, here it is says 510, but your case would be 570 Piping Inspector Certification, and you'll see your name on the right-hand side, the candidate's name. And when the exam starts, if you click on Finish section, it will finish that. Or when the time is up, and the time remaining is actually shown in the, as you can see here, 2 hours, 11 minutes is remaining, as you can see. So, and the questions are like, the arrow becomes longer, or it becomes towards the arrow. Once you, so you know what which question you are. Here, for example, you are at question number 2. And there is the back and next button during the exam. And if you continue the test, then it takes you to the actual test. So for people who requested translation, who are bilingual, so the question comes with the translation on top of it. So it would be bilingual questions, and there would be like a very limited number of languages like Spanish, Portuguese, I guess, or Chinese, apart from the English, which is the main language. Time remaining, and use the mouse as used on any laptop or desktop. There's an arrow here, as you can see. You know where your mouse is. If there is a long question, there would be a prompt coming saying this page requires scrolling, so you need to scroll to see the whole question because it didn't fit into a page. There is an icon of calculator here. It's a non-scientific calculator because the calculation you do is really it's just at most some simple multiplication or division or addition. So that's why a non-scientific calculator is there. Some test center I know they give you a small calculator and a couple of A4 size paper and a pen to make some notes on the top of it if you ask for it. So here you can see that answered question, they change color. So flagged off question, so a flag sign here. And on the current question you are, it will be turned into an arrow. And if it is unanswered, it will be just simply a box, a rectangular green box. Okay. So if you answer a question, select the answer, it changes color so you know which one you have selected. It turns color here. And if there is a multiple question, it will ask you in continuation of question here, select two that apply, as you can see. So you have to select two here. This is, previously, the user used to be such multi-choice, but I heard from my candidates that a few questions are as such, they're multi-choice. They're experimenting with that. If there is a drag and drop, you have to keep the mouse on that box and then push it down to the box. So December, you have to push it to the month of the year, June to the month of the year, and then horse and dog to the animal side. So it would look like that if you just drag and drop. And some questions, you have to connect the dots. So, for example, if you want to connect dog to canine, you'll click on dog and then you click on canine. So that will connect it. Now, if you click on canine again, it will unconnect it. And then if you made a mistake, for example, you did dog and feline, and so it connected these two, and you think it's a mistake, it should be to canine, then you unclick from feline and click on canine, and it will connect dog to that. Okay? This is a particularly very useful. I found it in the examination. If you are in doubt of any using the right answer for the question, answer the question the best of your knowledge. For example, in open book, if you can't find the answer where it is, and it takes you more than 2 minutes, just answer, use your hunch, and you answer it and then flag it off, and at the end you can come back to it, all these flags of doubtful questions. And then we have in our course also did the same thing to simulate in the API environment. Okay, so and if you keep the mouse on a text and push it left or right, you can highlight that if you want to focus on that, and you can strike a question by keeping the mouse on the box and then right clicking it, so striking it off. This also I found it useful because I sometimes, when you are answering a question and you're not sure absolutely sure which one is the right answer, you can do by power of deduction or elimination. So you strike off the two answers that you know are absolutely wrong, possible answers, choices, and then so that you can concentrate on two and select one of them. So right click and that strikes off the question. So there is a PDF at the top sign, as you can see, and if you click on that, the list of documents come in like here. It come like this. So this is for OpenBook part of it. For example, and then you click on API 510, the 510 comes, and then you can click on this arrow here, and it takes off everything, so you have a clear page to see. And then you have table of you have the content here on the left-hand side column, and you click on that, it takes you to that page. Now remember that the search button is disabled, so you should know which document you need to compare during the OpenBook and which section you have to go. Again, if you can't, some documents they are very long, like ASME code. If you can't find within 2 minutes, go to the table of contents, because the table of contents is or the table of figures or list of figures or list of tables. They are far smaller than the content section. So you might find the correct one there on list of figures or list of tables. You still can't find them, plug it off, answer it anyway, and then chances are when you're looking for answer to other question, you might find the answer to previous question. Make a note in your paper which number was it that you flagged off. That would be a good time management. The only way to work with OpenBook, we actually practice that. The OpenBook question, we have lots of OpenBook question in our training manual, as you can see, and in our online course, and with explanations. And I'll take you to our online course and to show you our quiz. You can try our free quiz here, and there is also free lessons, and it can be flagged off, like, and then you can see the answer or go to next. Now I would like to see the answer, so whether it is the right answer, and it tells you why is it the right answer, and you can go to next. All our questions are timed. Okay, back to tutorial. You can provide a feedback, but remember that for each question, but remember that this is coming off your own allocated time. So don't do that unless you are absolutely sure. So at the end, this is very important. You can filter by unattempted question. I would recommend that at the end, you click on unattempted and see how many questions you didn't answer, you missed any question to answer because there is no negative marking. So you practically by answering all questions, you increase your chance of passing. Or especially the flagged off button, you can click then on the remaining time and see, go through those questions once again, at your leisure until the time finishes to see whether did you choose the best answer or not, So you don't need to panic because of short of time. Now, ending the session is that once you say finish section, it will ask you that if you select finish section, are you sure you like to finish the section? And you say, yes, I would. It will ask you again, if you finish, you cannot return to this section. And if you click again, then that section is finished, means that that part of the exam is finished. And if you are in auto open book second part, so that whole exam is finished. Okay, so that's why it's asking you 3 times. So there is a tutorial examination. This is the whole about the tutorial. You better read through this so you are more comfortable. You don't need to also be stressed about how the button works before the exam. Thank you for your attention. And the next part, we will talk about schedule and speed.